Hello and welcome to our gentle movement, yin, and restorative yoga practice. My name is Michelle Chua, and you'll want to have quite a few props if you have anything like these behind me, a bolster, which is a pillow, a blanket, two blocks, a strap, or anything that you have at home that can be alternatives to that, like a bunch of pillows and blankets. Let's start in a propped seated position. You may like to fold a blanket so that you can adjust the thickness of it and sit towards the front edge of that blanket to allow your pelvis to slightly tilt forward as you bring your thighs to turn out in front of you, and play with bringing the shins quite close together so that your knees are almost hips width apart, or splaying the thighs wider, and see what's more comfortable for you. If you tend to cross one leg over the other most of the time, then I invite you to switch it up to help even out the stretch in your hips. We're going to be focusing physically on bringing the shoulders into flexion and the hips into flexion, the latter which looks like different kinds of forward folds. And we had a request for opening up the inner shoulders as well, which is the shoulders in extension. So let's take a moment to arrive. Settling into a comfortable stillness. On Thursday, today is Tuesday. So in 2 days, we are going to have a blood moon where you can actually see the moon turn red in the sky at night. It's going to be a full moon as well as a lunar eclipse. And we know that when things are happening in the planets and the moons and the sun, we are definitely affected by that, right? And so to know more about the energy of specific moon happenings is yet another way to be in harmony with nature. So I want to share this writing by Mijano, who calls herself Mystic Mama, and she writes about this full moon in Virgo, which is also a blood moon, total lunar eclipse on the 14th. She invites us into a place of inner contemplation. When she says she's talking about the moon. Inner contemplation, to sit in quiet reflection and receptivity, so that we can relax into a peaceful feeling within our bodies, even as the shadows are illuminated, even as our subconscious habits, patterns, and coping mechanisms surface. We are invited to broaden our lens of self-love and apply the gentle balm of self-forgiveness that helps us calm, heal, and regulate. When beliefs are ready to be transformed, they show themselves through the shadows. The contrast of what is no longer working or what we don't want leads us to seek the solution and align with what we want, what we do want. But we sometimes have to follow the process through discomfort and dissonance to find the harmony. Eclipses help us release what needs to be let go of. They free the depths in order to release the karmic patterns and move us into more authentic expressions of our being. To eclipse means to move past something. So their function is to accelerate our evolutionary timeline. These upcoming eclipses, which for the next few years will be on this same Pisces-Virgo nodal axis, are here to activate a massive wave of healing from the depths of transcendent love. The North Node in Pisces, which is our collective evolutionary growth point, is wanting us to embrace the parts of us that feel sadness, regret, and shame. All of our outcast parts are wanting to be embraced back into the great sea of us, while the South Node in Virgo is wanting us to release the ways in which we are too critical of ourselves and others. Virgo wants to remind us that we are perfectly imperfect as we are, and to realize that our presence, moment to moment, is what matters. That holy devotion which Virgo holds within is sacred. And she wants us to remember and reclaim our bodies as holy and sacred too. So when we talk about the full moon, especially the eclipses, there's a lot of talk about illuminating the shadows, the parts of ourselves that we, for some reason, don't look at, whether it's because we're embarrassed or it's uncomfortable to look at. And these are things that we might feel shame or inadequacy about, sadness or regret about in our lives, our personalities, our characters. And remember, very important to be gentle with ourselves and to look through the lens of compassion as things might be surfacing that are normally tucked away under the surface. So just a little reminder as we're stepping forward towards this full moon and eclipse. Let's take a moment to observe what's present in the many layers of your being right now. You might close the eyes and maybe place a hand on your chest and a hand on your lower belly to bring attention to your physical body. Taking a mental walk to each part, maybe beginning at the bottoms of your feet, to recognize what feels alive there, part by part, acknowledging the sensations happening. Take your time to really listen to how your body is speaking to you right now. By letting go of judging it as good or bad, right or wrong, allow yourself to be more open to see what's here. Feel the way your body is breathing without controlling or changing the breath. In breath flow, we can receive information about our nervous system, about our energy. So, how is your energy right now? Don't have to call it good or bad, just feel what's present. Notice the state of your mind and heart. Feeling into the kinds of thoughts that have been passing through your mind and what you have been giving your attention lately. Sensing your heart energy and noticing what kinds of emotions are flowing through. Let's practice holding space for all of it just as it is. Begin to deepen the breath. Exhaling through your mouth a few times. Letting each breath in last a little longer, as well as each breath out. You might find it helpful to unpack through vocalizing, sighing out through the mouth. Ha. Few more times. Maybe pausing at the top and bottom of the breath a couple of times. invite you to call to mind one or few things today that you appreciate in your life. What are some small things that can be easily overlooked that you want to recognize right now with gratitude? And as we near the full moon, a time for reflecting on what may no longer serve us, that we carry within our hearts, our beliefs, our actions, our patterns and habits. What comes to mind is something you may want to intend to start releasing. Consider this as part of your intention that you're setting for this practice. And then to whom might you like to dedicate your practice to today? A way of sending them loving kindness through the efforts you bring into your practice. And together, let's join our voices in support of each other and ourselves while connecting with our Mother Earth through vibrational sound, chanting Om 3 times. Let in a deep breath. Together, let's balance and lengthen our in and out breaths with a specific breathing technique called Ujjayi Pranayama, which I'm going to invite you to sustain throughout our physical movements and postures. It helps to regulate your energy into a place of balance and to calm and focus your mind and body. So closing your lips, softly constrict the back of your throat. Begin to create a gentle whispering sound in your breath. And as you can listen to your breathing, let's inhale for 5 counts, exhale for 5 counts, and really focus on a sound that is smooth, sustained, and not rushed. All right, let's try a few rounds together, a few rounds on your own. Empty this breath to prepare. Inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 5. Exhale 5. And continue to sustain the breath evenly in and out through the nose, listening to that whispering sound as a way to anchor your mind and allow the movements and postures to also be a way of meditating. As you're focusing on the sound of your breath, your mind is present with your body. All right. So we're going to be opening up the shoulders and the hips. Let's start with just loosening the neck, which is connected to the shoulders. If you've been sitting cross-legged with one leg in front, maybe switch it up now. And start to drop your chin down to your chest. Inhale, leaning one ear to one shoulder. Keep the breath flowing slowly and rotating your head very gently on your own pace. Couple of circles in this direction and a couple of circles in the opposite direction. Okay, and now the shoulders. Relax the neck, lift the back of the skull. Inhale, rotate your shoulders forward and up. Exhale them back and down. Smooth rolls one more time in this direction. Go as slowly as you're breathing. Let's reverse. Inhale the shoulders behind you and up. Exhale forward and down. Once more. Okay, now into the spine. Inhale, rotating to one side as you shift onto one sitting bone and then rock forward. Exhale to the other side and lean back. One more time this direction. Feel your weight shift at the bottom of your pelvis and then switch. Go in the opposite direction. Breathe in. Just to slowly breathe out. All right, let's come down to all fours and we'll continue the movement of the spine in cat-cow pose, Vidalasana. Spread your fingers flat, stack your shoulders on top of your wrists. Step your knees a couple of inches behind the hips. Go as slow as you breathe. Inhale as you glide your chest forward, rolling the shoulders back and down. Look up, cow pose. Exhaling as you contract your belly, dropping the head to round. Cat pose. Again, inhale, draw your chest forward, coiling it up. Exhale, lift the belly in, drop your head, dome your back. Keep going on your own. Several more cycles of breath. Letting the repetitive movements and the rhythm you're listening to in your breathing help to soothe your mind into a steady, calm focus. All right, we're going to bring some twisting movements into the spine. So spread the left fingers flat on the floor. Inhale, stretch the right arm up towards the sky. Exhale, thread it under the left bent elbow. We're not going to stay here. We're going to move. So inhale, raise the right arm up towards the sky again. Exhale, thread it under. 3 more times before we hold the pose. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, thread under. Inhale, reach. Exhale, thread. Inhale, reach. Exhale, thread. Let's stay here for 5 to 10 breaths. So rest your head down. If you need, use a block or pillow or blanket under your head. Make sure that your head is resting. Draw the shoulders back, lengthening your neck. Level the height of your 2 hips, making sure you're keeping your lower back stable. You're not twisting there. And allow your rib cage to gently rotate. Filling up full capacity of your lungs and emptying the breath completely. 2 more breaths here. Slowly press up, all fours. Pause in a neutral spine, sliding the shoulders back. Lift the sides of the belly slightly. Breathe. And let's prepare to move into the opposite twist. Press the right hand down. Inhale, raise your left arm to the sky. Exhale, thread it under your right bent elbow. 4 more breaths. Inhale, lift. Exhale, thread. Inhale, lift. Exhale, thread. Inhale, lift. Exhale, thread. Inhale, lift. And exhale, thread. Rest the left side of your head all the way down. Use a prop if needed. Relax the shoulders down the back. Level the height of your 2 hips. Breathing slowly and evenly as you gently deepen the twist. Slowly press back to tabletop and relax in that neutral spine position. Shoulders moving down the back, sides of the belly slightly lifting, gazing at the ground ahead of your thumbs. Deep breath. All right, let's warm up the lower body, a little more gentle movement. Inhale, stretch your right leg behind you. And exhale, step the foot forward beside your right thumb. Make sure that your foot is forward enough so that your right knee is directly on top of your right heel, but not in front of the right heel. Plant your fingertips either on the ground or on a block for each hand directly underneath your shoulders, where you have the most control of your balance. So make sure your hands are not way forward like this. Makes it a lot more difficult to balance and to move. So the right under the shoulders, tuck the back toes, separate your legs as wide apart as your hips, and let's move in and out of this lunge. As you breathe in, allow your pelvis to sink while you look up. Keep your feet where they are. Exhale, lift the left knee, draw the right outer hip back, straighten your legs to whatever degree is comfortable, and bow from the hips like you have a flat back. So only as far as you can relax the shoulders back. Pyramid pose. Inhale, lower the left knee again and look up, kneeling lunge. Exhale, lift the left knee, draw the right hip back and fold, pyramid pose. 3 more times. Inhale, kneeling lunge. Exhale, pyramid. 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 Come back to a lunge. Plant your hands flat on the floor and step the right knee back. Tabletop. How's your breathing? Connect to that as you inhale. Sweep your left leg behind you. Exhale, gently step the foot forward beside your left thumb. You can grab the ankle with your left hand and bring it forward just to make sure your left knee is right on top of the heel. Fingertips on blocks or the ground right beneath your shoulders. Tuck the back toes. Legs are as wide apart as your hips. Breathe in and let your pelvis sink while you look up. Breathe out, lift the right knee, draw the left hip back towards whatever degree you can straighten the legs and bow as if you have a flat back. Inhale, kneeling lunge, look up. Exhale, pyramid pose. 3 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Come back to a kneeling lunge and step back to tabletop, hands and knees. Okay, now let's bring the shoulders into flexion. Please place your two blocks either on their second level height like this, medium height, if you have the standard size block, this thickness. If you have really thin blocks, you might want to place them on the lowest height, just so they don't topple over. And place them side by side like this, crossing the front of your mat with your knees about a foot behind the blocks. Extend your arms forward, palms face down. From the shoulder sockets, rotate your outer upper arms or triceps downward to spread the shoulder blades wider across your upper back. At the same time, press the shoulder blades down the back. So these two actions help to plug the shoulder bones in their sockets, creating stability in the shoulders. Keep doing them as you bend the elbows and place them exactly your shoulders distance apart on the blocks. Press your fingertips into each other. Step your knees back a couple of inches behind your hips. As you listen to your breathing, trace your thumbs down the back of your skull. You might even be able to go as far back as between the shoulder blades. Let your head fall as your neck is loose. Let your chest sink and broaden. Keeping the elbows, shoulders width apart. Continue to rotate your triceps down and draw your shoulder blades back. Slightly engage your abdomen, lifting the belly towards the back so as not to dump into the lower back. Draw your sitting bones back. Let's tune into 5 more slow breaths here. Slowly lift up and off the blocks. Set the blocks aside. And let's come into downward facing dog. Spread your thumbs flat towards each other with your wrists, shoulders distance apart. Stretch the index fingers to point forward. You could slightly turn them out if your shoulders tend to round forward to prevent that. With shoulders over wrists and knees a couple of inches behind the hips, separate your feet at least hips width apart. Tuck your toes, press through the hands and lift the hips back. And begin by moving your body any way it needs to loosen up, such as pedaling your feet slowly in place to the pace of your breathing, in which you might also swivel your hips side to stretch your sideways and outer hips. You might explore shaking and nodding your head. And just observe what parts of your body have not moved much today that you need to increase energy flow in, release stagnancy from. Maybe the jaw. Let's incorporate the two actions in the shoulders to create stability again. Spin your outer upper arms towards the ground to spread your shoulder blades apart. Drop your head, loosen your neck, and lift the shoulder blades back onto your back ribs. Elongate the spine by pulling your hips up and back while firming the belly in. Pressing the fronts of your thighs back, root down to your heels. You might keep the knees bent. Now let your eyes rest on one point as you listen to 2 more cycles of breath. Slowly come forward to plank pose and lower your knees. Hug the elbows to your ribs, lower your chest, and lower your chin. Ashtangasana. Slither all the way forward until your belly and legs are flat on the floor. And now let's bring a stretch into the front of your shoulders. If you want to rest your head on a block instead of the ground, place a block just to the right side of your skull here. Slide your right arm wide out to the right with your palm face down in line with your right shoulder. Press the ground away with the left hand beside your left shoulder and look to your left side. So as you start to roll towards your right outer hip, you can rest the right ear on your block or on the floor. Take a moment to soften the right shoulder away from your right ear to create space in the right side of your neck. Breath by breath, observe the signals from your body, especially the front of the right shoulder, to how far you need to lean, where you're not overdoing it or feeling stagnant. Some of you might explore wrapping the left arm behind your back, maybe stepping the left foot on the ground behind you, maybe also stepping the right foot on the ground so both knees are bent. See what's available here for about 5 more deep breaths. Start to unwind onto your belly slowly, breath by breath. And you may like to have a block on the left side of your skull. Slide your left arm wide to the left, palm face down, in line with the left shoulder. Press into the ground with the right hand beside the right shoulder. Lean your left ear onto the block or the floor as you slowly roll towards your left outer hip. Take a moment to slide the left shoulder away from the left ear. And really take your time to listen to the subtle cues of your body and breath. You may not need to go as far as you did on your first side, or maybe you need to go further. What's your body saying on this side of your shoulders? One more deep breath. And slowly roll onto your belly. Take your time pressing into child's pose with your arms reaching forward or down by your sides. You may even like to stretch your neck by leaning one ear to the ground for a few breaths and then switching the opposite ear. Feel that your feet are touching each other. Knees can be together or apart. Sink your pelvis down and back towards your heels and let your shoulders rest down the back too. We're here briefly as we transition onto our back, so give it another 2 or 3 deep breaths in Balasana. Slowly roll your spine upright. Sliding your legs out in front of you. We're going to bring the hips into flexion before we lower onto our back. Coming into cow face pose, which will combine the arms or the shoulders in flexion with the hips in flexion. So let's turn out the right thigh and cross it over the left thigh. Try to hug your thighs as close together as you can, either keeping your left leg straight with a foot flexed or also bending the left knee, and you might be able to splay the feet wider apart. If you tend to round or you're coming off balance in the pelvis, grab a blanket and you can sit on it to help you balance your weight on both hips and to lengthen the spine. Now, bending your elbows apart, cross your left elbow on top of the right elbow. Hook your thumbs or wrap your forearms and palms. Draw the shoulder blades down the back and lift the elbows to the height of your shoulders. Pressing your forearms gently away from the face, sit tall and breathe. Stay here or exhale, begin to stretch the spine taller as you hinge from the hips. Inhale as you press down through the pelvis and continue to stretch all the way up the spine. Shoulders relaxed, continue to fold. Press down through the pelvis. Inhale to slowly rise. Release the arms, stretch the legs apart. Forward and pause. Notice how your body is responding to that. Continue to listen to your breathing, and let's turn out the left thigh, hugging it over the right thigh as close together as you can. Either keep your right leg straight as you flex the foot, or bend the right knee and maybe splay the feet both wider apart. Equally press down through both sitting bones and bend your elbows apart. This time cross right elbow over left and hook your thumbs or wrap your forearms and palms. Slide your shoulder blades down the back as you sit taller. Lift the elbows to the height of your shoulders and gently press your forearms away from your face. Breathing in, breathing out, lift the chest and lengthen the spine as you fold from the hips. Breath by breath. Press down to your pelvis and inhale to slowly rise. Straighten both legs forward, feet, hips distance apart. Let's prepare for seated forward fold. As you root down to the sitting bones, flex your feet. Press the insteps of your feet forward to slightly rotate your thighs internally. Firm your outer hips towards your spine. And as you press down through the pelvis, lift and lengthen your spine, dropping the shoulders. Keep your neck long, chest broad, and exhale, hinge from the hips just a little bit. You can place your hands in the backs of your thighs. Inhale, press down through the pelvis, stretch the spine a little longer. Maybe you fold a little deeper from the hips, walking the hands down the backs of the calves. Some of you might clasp your big toes. Now come up half of the range you've already folded and breathe in here. Roll the shoulders back and down, little lift in the chest. Continue to pull the spine forward and hinge from the hips. About 5 more breaths. in Paschimottanasana. Pressing your pelvis down, lead with your chest and inhale to slowly rise. And let's make our way onto our back with one block. I'm going to invite you to use a wall if you have one. If you do, you can take your block with you and come into legs up the wall. If you don't have a wall, if you have a chair, a couch, or a bed that you can be right up against with the mat like this, make your mat perpendicular to that piece of furniture or the wall. To come into legs up the wall pose. If you don't have either one, you can stay on your back and take supported shoulder stand, placing a block under the flat part of your lower back and just lifting the legs in the air. If legs up the wall, have the block near the wall so you can reach it easily. Sit down with your outer hip flush against the wall like this and turn over onto your side in a fetal position. Slide your two glutes to touch the wall, and when they are, turn over onto your back so that your glutes are touching the wall as your legs are up the wall. To add more boost of circulation, bend your knees, press your feet into the wall, grab the block, and lift your pelvis. Slide the block underneath the flat part of your lower back and stretch the legs up on the wall again. You can rest your palms face down on your lower belly, which can increase the feeling of grounding. And let's enter deep belly breaths, where we'll inhale to very gently expand the belly, and we'll exhale a little longer to increase that rest and digest response of the nervous system. While you're breathing out, let the belly soften down towards the spine, not by force, but more by letting go of effort. So I'll count to 5 as you breathe into the belly, and I'll count from 7 as you relax the belly and breathe out through the nose. All right, let's try 3 rounds together and 3 rounds on your own before we let go of controlling the breath. Empty this breath to prepare. Inhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 5. Exhale, 7. Continue on your own, 3 more cycles. Letting go of controlling the breath. I've just remembered that someone requested wrist stretches. So while you're here, some ways you can stretch your wrists. One way is to make chicken wings to stretch the outer wrist, where you bring the backs of your hands into your armpits and you bend the elbows down towards your side ribs. It can be a pretty intense stretch. So just do the amount that you need. And the opposite of that outer wrist stretch is to extend one arm towards the sky and flex at the wrist. So the palm is face up like you're holding a tray. Use the opposite hand to press the fingers down and increase the stretch in your inner wrist and forearm. Make sure the shoulders are relaxed here. They're not shrugging up towards the ears. Let's switch. Opposite arm towards the sky, flex at the wrist, palm face up. Opposite hand, like you're giving yourself a high five and pressing the fingers down to increase the stretch. Last one, interlace your fingers loosely like you have a ball in your palms and rotate the wrists at the wrists. Go in both directions. And shake out the arms. Slide your feet down onto the wall. Remove the block from under your body. Turn over to your right side. Rest your head there for a few breaths. So we were just in an inversion, which means upside down pose. You don't want to lift your head up too quickly after being upside down for a while. Otherwise, you can feel lightheaded. So very gradually as you breathe, press into the ground with your hands. And start to lift lazily your torso, then your head, so that you can bring your mat to a space where you can stretch the legs flat on the floor and come into corpse pose most comfortably. You may like to arrange your props to support comfort in this position, like a pillow underneath the backs of your knees, a blanket over your pelvis or your whole body, an eye pillow or your strap over your closed eyes. Take a moment to set up. And once you have found a comfortable stillness, close the eyes. Feel that you have now let go of controlling your breathing and allow your whole body to let go of having to do anything. Resting deeper and deeper within yourself into a space of loving presence. As you rest a little longer in Shavasana, observe how your body feels after your physical yoga practice. Listen to how it wants to begin waking up. Start with subtle, small movements like wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes. Ease into simple stretches, not getting up too fast, honoring the stillness that we have for an hour been cultivating, this ability to slow down and be still with a mindful presence. Slowly turn over onto your right side and rest your head, pausing to notice your breathing without controlling it. As you're still lying down, how does your energy feel? Don't have to call it good or bad. Just notice what you feel about your energy. As you press your hands into the ground, slowly lift your body into a comfortable way to sit, tall, relaxed, grounded, and feeling open for 5 minutes sitting in meditation. You may like to place your hands in a mudra that supports focusing inwards, such as stacking the right palm face up over the left palm face up on the center of your lap with thumb tips gently touching. Let the shoulders relax as you lift up to the crown of your head. Feel the balanced weight in your pelvis. Soften your eyes and the muscles around them. Soften your tongue and mouth. Relax your hands, your belly. Relax your pelvic floor and the bottoms of your feet. Sense the breath flowing naturally in and out. Notice the kinds of thoughts that arise without any need to cling to thoughts. Just see them come and go, just like the weather changing. You are the sky, and the clouds and the rain and the sunshine are the thoughts. Notice what feelings arise, come and go. Let them be the weather too, as you continue to be the sky. Notice how you're feeling now mentally and emotionally. Doesn't have to be good or bad. Just notice what you're feeling. As we bring this practice to a close, what can you bring from your practice into your daily life? Remembering that our yoga is meant to be lived and integrated rather than compartmentalized to 1 hour. What ways can you be conscious of the energy of the full moon, inviting us to pause, slow down, reflect, and notice what's surfacing from within us to tend to or to release? Think of something that you might offer gratitude for right now. And come back to your intention that you set. Remember to whom you dedicated this practice. And let's close together, connecting with our Mother Earth, ourselves, and each other in 3 ohms. Let in a deep breath. Ah. 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 And bowing in towards yourself to honor the light within. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.